everyone, and welcome back to today's lesson. So today's lesson is going to be a little bit of an art and craft lesson. Before we start, I'm going to say I live behind a school, so you might hear the children outside playing on the playground because it's their lunchtime. Also, both of my dogs are currently in here, so if you hear them moving around, it's them. So, for today's art lesson, I thought I'd do something, again because it's the final week and because this is an anxious time where people might be feeling a little bit worried and nervous about what might be happening in September. I thought we'd do something relaxing, and again, something you can do indoors, although hopefully the weather will brighten up and you might be able to do this activity outside. So for today's activity, we're going to be doing an art activity. You are going to need a table cover, something to protect your table. You're going to need to have your hair tied up and an apron on, or clothes you don't mind getting a little bit of paint on. You are going to need a piece of paper. You are going to need some paints. You're going to need a palette or plate that you don't mind using paint on. And you're going to need some Q-tips or earbuds, depending on what you call them. That is what we're going to need for today's lesson. Now, I've got a couple because we're not going to wash them in water like we would a paintbrush. So you have to be careful that once you've used part of the Q-tip in one colour, that you don't then put it in another colour, because you'll just end up with muddy colours. And when you end up mixing all the colours together, in Squirrel's class, we discovered it makes this really strange brown colour that's not particularly nice. So just keep that in mind, that we're not going to wash them like we normally would in water, like we do a paintbrush, but instead once you've used the end for one colour, try to use a different end of the Q-tip for a different colour. So the great thing about this activity is you can do whatever you want. You can make pictures or flowers or any kind of thing. You could even just fill your whole piece of paper with as many dots as you wanted. I'm going to have a go at creating a flower, but as I say, you could make anything you liked. And this is a really great activity, again, for those fine motor skills. So, with my paint, I'm going to start with a green for the stem and leaf of my flower. I'm going to put a little bit of green on my plate. And I'm going to get my Q-tip. Make sure I haven't got too much. And then I'm just going to start dabbing. Now, you could probably create all different kinds of things. You can make those dots bigger. You could make them smaller. You could maybe even draw lines with them. So there's lots and lots of different things you could do. So now that I've got my stem and my leaf, I am going to use some yellow. To create that middle of my flower. Okay. Now you can see I've used both ends. I've used this end for green and this end for yellow. So I'm going to get a different Q-tip. And for the leaves of my flower, I'm going to have a nice little red colour. I'm just going to make my petals on my flower. And that's all there is to this activity. You could create all different kinds of things. You could do police cars, fire engines, you could do the seaside, you could do your garden, you could even draw people with this. So now I'll show you what I've created. That's my flower, and you can see the dots have formed a picture. So this is a really nice activity that can be done, as I say, short, sweet, relaxing, and something that's just really, really nice and fun to do. I really, really hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you tomorrow for our third video lesson. Bye!